problem with anybody who uses AI or with anybody who has a problem with it. The only thing that I have a problem with is when people become hostile towards others. You know, like I don't have a problem when somebody doesn't support AI or when somebody is against AI. I just have a problem when people start being hostile towards those people who either use it or don't use it, and when people start insulting and throwing accusations and just being extremely mean. That's the thing with that I have personally a problem with, and I don't want to have to endure that type of behavior, and I'm not gonna do that. So like if really somebody feels offended or not happy with what I just said, again, they're very, very free to walk away and be disappointed with me and with my development as a content creator. Yeah, I don't use it on TikTok because most of them are just clips from Twitch. I don't use it on Twitch. Again, it's just like for the announcements for my streams. I wanted to be honest. I wanted to be open about it. And I also want to continue doing that looking forward. I didn't want it to be a one-time experience. I wanted to actually start doing it every time I stream. Yeah, that being said, I also need to say that I got pushed by people towards AI. Not in the sense of that like somebody forced me to use it, but it was a lot of people being extremely hostile on Twitter, accusing a lot of VTubers of like, oh, how dare you didn't hire somebody to do this and that, how dare you did it yourself, oh no, you didn't do it yourself, you used AI to do it. Because for a lot of people it's really difficult to comprehend that not everybody who is an artist does commissions or like does work for other people, or like everybody who works in the artistic field or who has artistic knowledge does commissions. So like a lot of people would not really believe me that I did a lot of my own things myself. So therefore they would like throw accusations at me and be like, oh no, you didn't do it yourself, you hired somebody to do it for you and then you didn't credit them, or like, you know, stuff like that. And honestly, I'm tired of like having to explain myself and having to justify myself. I have proven millions of times what I'm capable of doing in Discord. People saw me modeling my own hairstyles in Discord live while I did even some 3D streams here on Twitch. I am capable of a lot of things. I just don't put it out on display because I do not want to define myself through that. I want to define myself through being a gamer girl who likes to play games, and that's like the thing that I enjoy doing more and where I feel more comfortable streaming, because I feel like that type of streams is just more engaging for everybody around me. Because the thing with art streams, or like with 3D streams, let's call it 3D streams, is that like that type of streams really require me to focus very much at what I'm doing, because if I don't focus very much on what I'm doing, I start doing mistakes, and if you start doing mistakes, it gets worse and worse the more you progress, because then you have to go like 20 or 30 steps back in order to fix that one mistake. So it's kind of like piling up, and that's not really a good thing. So I prefer whenever I work on 3D things to do it off stream, because then I can focus better and fully on what I'm doing, because sometimes the chat can be distracting, especially when you're trying to focus on something important, like on an important work. So yeah, whenever I would do like 3D streams, I would feel like as if it's like a more boring type of stream, because, you know, since I'm focusing on what I'm doing, I'm not that super engaging or interesting to watch, and it's like overall less talking and more quiet. And I don't know, I feel like that type of streams really turns my stream into dead air and cozy vibes, and I don't want to be a cozy streamer. I want to be somebody where like people don't feel like I'm boring. People comment to my stream and there's always something cool happening or something interesting happening, or, you know, just talking about different types of topics, either about the game or about other stuff. I just don't really want to be doing art on stream, and it also pisses me off when I distract myself. So like when I actually have the opportunity to fully focus on work, I'm more productive, if that makes sense, and I work even better and I get things done faster than if I do it on stream. So yeah, no, I don't mean that. Like, here is the thing, like I don't think that everyone is a bad human being, but also like I'm sick and tired of like having to always defend myself against people who are so much pro artists to the point where like everyone gets to be shamed if they don't obey that moral codex that these people invented. Where like, you know, technically I'm an artist myself. I don't personally think that 3D is very artistic. For me, 3D is more technical, but like, you know, a lot of people be like, oh, 3D people are also artists. So like, okay, if we're gonna like call all 3D people artists, then I guess I'm an artist too. I see things differently, and I'm honestly tired. I'm tired of like of people expecting me to credit some old artist with that I worked 3 million years ago, even though I'm no longer using the things they made for me. Especially not if it was somebody who missed the fucking deadline 5 times. Like, why should I make advertisement on my channel for somebody with who I had a really shitty experience? Because like the worst thing that can happen is that one of my friends somehow clicks on that link and then thinks like, oh, I want to commission that person too, and then that person is being shitty with them as well and is not replying to them, or like is ghosting them, or it's just like really difficult to work with them. Like, I don't want to promote people who don't know how should I say, not every artist is meant to be dealing with customers. Not every artist out there is good in doing commissions. Some artists are better at doing their own projects because they're just not really very good with dealing with customers, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. Not everybody is made for that. You know, some artists are better by doing their own projects. That gives them a bigger dopamine kick and keeps them motivated to work on that, because, you know, working for customers can sometimes be very demotivating, and it's not always the projects that you want to work on, because, you know, it's a work for hire. So like, you know, people hire you and you have to do something for them, and then in return they pay you. So, you know, I just don't want to be dealing with that shit anymore. I'm trying to do most of the things myself that I'm capable of doing. I'm trying to do them myself, and if I can't do everything myself, I thank God I have really fucking awesome, cool community members like Sekoris, Hatskan, Steel, who really help me a lot with either my avatar or my channel or other stuff. You know, I'm really thankful for all the help that I receive, and I really value that a lot. But I just, that being said, I don't want to define my entire brand through crediting 3 million people and being like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, I am nothing, and all my success is because of some other people contributing with one little tiny piece of the big giant puzzle. You know, like I don't want to give too much credit to people who I paid to do something, because again, it's kind of like, okay, they do a commission and they get paid in return, so that's like a transaction. So I have more like the mindset of like, you know, I am the person behind the VTuber. I am the driving force behind my own brand that I create. And if I don't stream and if I don't do content, it's dead. It's dead. And like it doesn't exist in that moment. It's kind of like, only if I use the tools for creating content, it can grow and it can flourish. Without me, it cannot flourish. Okay, without me doing content or streaming or making videos, nothing's gonna flourish. Nobody's gonna even know that I fucking exist. I'm gonna be like an unknown person on the internet. And then I feel like that I should take more credit for what I do, and I feel also that like I don't want to make my stream the entire time about other people. You know, it's my channel, it's my streams, it's my videos, and it's okay if I'm the main attraction in my own streams, and it's okay if I'm the main attraction on my own channels, and it's okay if I'm also taking a little bit of credit for my own success. And maybe I'm not very successful right now because I took a lot of time to work on my health, but maybe social media wise I'm not really successful, but health wise I'm really happy because I made improvements and my health condition improved, and I'm still working on it, and it's okay. You know, it doesn't have to, success comes in all forms and in all categories. It doesn't have to necessarily be that like, oh, you're gonna be the next huge super duper content creator with 3 million gajillion followers. It doesn't have to always be like that. You know, sometimes success comes also in private life, or like with your health, or like otherwise. So yeah, I am doing doing my very best, what I can do. And I also want to give myself a little bit more credit, because I don't know, I feel like I've been putting myself down too much, or like I've been letting other people put me down too much. And honestly, like, I feel like it's been enough, man. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to like really talk about these things, because lately it's been really difficult on social media. Difficult in terms of that, like, a lot of people are very hard to judge and very fast to judge without even taking a look or like informing themselves. A lot of people just straight up jump on other people's throats and accuse them of doing things they never did. And I'm sick and tired, man. It happens so often to me that like some fucking people out of nowhere would accuse me of doing this and that and this and that, and I didn't. You know, like at one time I got accused for that I didn't pay an artist, when in reality I paid her and tipped her up front before she even started working. And then she didn't even deliver all of it. She just delivered like 75% of it, and that 75% that was delivered was in very bad condition. I don't know, and then like somehow people started spreading that misinformation that I didn't pay her, when in reality I did. More than generous enough, with big tips and shit. And like I had like a little today on Twitter that she was being like, oh no, you can't do anything yourself, and like, oh, why don't you do everything yourself? And then I'm like, okay, what do you want? Like like, what is your problem? Like, you have a problem if like I do everything myself, then you'd be like, oh no, it's not you. And then when I say, okay, well, then for the things that I'm not able to do myself, gonna start using AI, then suddenly it's a problem too. You know, it's kind of like, I feel like a lot of people are just like really, no matter what you do, people will find something to bitch about and to be really mean about. And I'm not even big, bro. I'm not even like somebody who's super famous. I'm just like a very, very small streamer, and somehow people are still hateful. Like, you would expect that like a small streamer wouldn't receive hate. You know, you would expect that. You would think that like, oh, people who receive hate are usually people who have thousands of viewers, or like, you know, like a couple of thousand viewers, live viewers. Like, you would think that those people receive a lot of hate, but bro, no, it can hit anyone. It can hit even the small streamers. Yeah. You're trying your best, even though I just met you. Thank you. That's kind. Some people will never be happy. Let those people be unhappy and focus on your own happiness. Yeah, that's why I said also that, like, you know, I'm just gonna do what makes me happy, and I'm gonna do what gives me joy. And if that brings me joy, what I'm currently doing, then I'm gonna continue doing it. And that's why I said that, like, you know, if anybody feels offended or sad or whatever, if anybody has any negative feelings from the things that I do, they're very welcome to walk away, because I don't want to hold anybody here who is not okay with what I'm doing. I don't want to be that I'm not going to be that type of person to beg for attention and to beg for, you know, if somebody wants to go because they don't feel comfortable, they can do that, and that's okay. That's very okay. And I just really don't want to let other people stop me from doing things I want to be doing. God, that was quite a thing. That was kind of like really difficult for me to get it all out, but it had to be addressed. It had to be mentioned. It really had to. I had to talk with you guys about it.